students are gone, but you are still here. And we know how you feel because you are done. But you have so much work to do to get ready for tomorrow. Good afternoon, podcast listeners everywhere. Welcome to After the Bell, a Stunt Brothers production. A podcast that gets inside the life of a teacher and provides a wellness guide for being prepared to take on this most challenging of professions. I'm Martin Stuible.
And I'm Roy Hunt. And we share your pain, having taught a combined 70 years. The guarantee of this podcast is to make you laugh, make you think, and give you at least one little nugget that you can use in the classroom. So get out your marking, organize your supplies, or just pour yourself a coffee.
I want something stronger.
And listen, engage, and interact with After the Bell, a podcast for you, the hard-working, dedicated teacher who wants free lesson plans, free advice, and a free meal.
Okay, Roy, but I'm not paying for anything more than McDonald's. Well, Mr. Hunt, here we are, episode 3 of season 2.
Yeah.
Might be around 33 all over, right? All together. But this does not look like the box.
No.
This is not our usual recording. I'm looking around. This is not even a location in North Vancouver.
That's correct. And you know, it's one of those things where we always make sure we schedule something in the box. And there is nothing available for today in the box.
We couldn't record. We couldn't.
So
what do we do?
What do you
do when you can't record in your usual recording studio?
You pack up your trailer and you pack up your bags and drive 4 hours away from BC.
Go beyond hope, right?
Go beyond hope, yes. We're beyond
There's
hope.
There's another good name, right? What a great name Hope has always been,
Yes.
right? Going beyond hope. And yeah, so we're at Manning Park.
We're Manning Park.
And we may do a few what we call the Manning Park sessions that we may have throughout the year. But this one is actually going to be episode 3, us recording here at Manning Park.
At Manning Park. And at...
we're right there. It's the beautiful Lightning Lake.
Lightning Lake.
Which is just a fantastic place to camp.
And it lived up to its name last night.
When we arrived.
It was pouring rain, just coming down, and it was unbelievable.
And thunder and lightning.
And we knew that we had arrived at Lightning Lake.
And when we checked in, and then it was pouring rain, and then it did dry up for a few minutes, and the Manning Park camping guru, whatever his job is, name, the guy, the supervisor,
park manager, yeah.
He did not instill confidence.
No, there is a...
He came in to check us in at our site.
There's a fire burning not far from Manning Park, but it's under control.
It is, and you can see it in the distance, and it's not too smoky here at all, which is nice. But he was like so stressed and said, I'm going through PTSD right now. There's lightning going on, and there's a fire, and I don't know, we might have to evacuate. I think that he needs some training on how to present a calm front.
Yes, he did not make us feel like we wanted to put up our trailer.
No. But here we are at Lightning
Lake.
It lived up to its name.
It did.
Right?
So if you went to Fire Lake, what would you expect?
Yeah, exactly, right? and there is, if you go after Lightning Lake, there's Thunder Lake.
There's
Strike Lake, right?
There's one Duck Lake.
One duck.
Would you be disappointed if you saw more than one?
If it's 2 Duck Lake, I'm not going. But I think Canada's always had those amazing names, right?
Yes.
I think definitely Newfoundland has some, but other places too, like even Alberta.
Alberta
right?
has some great names. Go ahead. What do you got?
Well, I was going to think of Head Smashed In Buffalo Jump. That's a classic Alberta place that just, wow. And what a wonderful Indigenous history to that name,
yes.
right?
What about Dead Man's Flats?
Man, Alberta had a rough history here. And there's a Vulcan,
yes,
which had nothing to do with Star Trek, but now I think they've used that because it was obviously named long before Star Trek came along. Mm-hmm. But they've made that a tourist attraction in the town. I think there's a giant, maybe Leonard Nimoy as you come into the town.
It's an opportunity now.
Yeah.
But if you were in Newfoundland...
That's the best. I think Newfoundland is just
what would you expect if you went to Dildo?
And you come by chance. It's just kind of like Hope, right? Come by chance, and then, blow me down. Another Newfoundland town.
And if you called someone a gooby, Does that mean they're from Gooby, or is that a derogatory
And it's Goobies,
term?
and I've actually been to Goobies.
Okay.
And it became a bit of a family put down for a while. Don't be such a Gooby, because we had been to Goobies, so I have been there.
Okay.
What else in Newfoundland? Anywhere else?
How about Witless Bay?
How did these names get developed, right? What happened
Who
at
comes
that
up
time?
with those names?
Did some witless sailor? He was trying to get to India.
Oh, don't be such
His
a witless.
name's Christopher Columbus.
Name.
And he arrives in Witless Bay.
Yes.
Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia.
Balls Creek.
Balls Creek.
Sometimes I think these names were written by my grade 4 class. Like they were just given, here's a blank map of Canada. You can come up with any name you want.
Right, you look around the room. Chair Lake.
Right?
Yes. But other things in Nova Scotia, how about Mushaboom?
Mushaboom.
Mushaboom. And I believe that's part of a title in a song from a Feist album.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
And then Sober Island.
Sober Island,
Well,
a good place to go.
I know a few people who could go there.
Right.
Maybe in dry January.
Dry
That's where you
Januaries.
go. Have a little holiday
Okay.
and go to Sober Island.
Okay, and I guess if you're financially strapped, you might want to go to Lower Economy.
And if you're doing better, there's actually a town called Upper Economy, right? That must be hard if Upper Economy is right next to Lower Economy.
What if your brother's in Upper Economy and you're a Lower Economy?
Quebec's got a good one. St. Louis do haha with 2 exclamation marks. And my research tells me it's the only town in the world that has 2 exclamation marks in its name.
Mm-hmm.
St. Louis do haha.
What about Mayo?
Oh, there you go. Get my BLT going. Get my
BLT.
mayo. Yeah.
Do you get mayonnaise from Mayo?
And there's a town in Quebec called Trois Pistoles. 3 pistols.
Yep.
They've got 3 pistols going on.
Only 3.
3. That's it.
That's good.
If there's a 4th in the town, get out of here.
Get it out. You're
you
out.
Go out west, young man.
Okay. In Ontario, we have Punky Doodle Corners.
Wow, that sounds like Punky Brewster or
yeah.
something, some kid show from the 80s. Here's another grade 4 kind of place name, Crotch Lake, right?
I can see you can say, "I'd like you to make a map with your own island and name everything." Crotch Lake.
And then it would be the next one to Balls Falls, right?
It would be the group of 3 or 4 boys putting it together.
They would be.
It's
This
like,
is our
island's all going to have slang names for body parts.
And then we tell them, nah, they already exist in Canada. Go to Ontario. You can go to Balls Falls there and then go visit Crotch Lake next.
There you go. Wawa.
Okay.
I've been to Wawa.
Wawa, what do they do in Wawa?
I believe Wawa has a pulp and paper mill.
Okay.
I believe there's even a giant goose there.
So many towns in Canada. It's a giant goose, a giant hockey stick, something big that they just want to say, come to our town and get this.
Come to Wawa. That's right.
And have you ever been to Mono? That's in Ontario.
I've had mono, but I've never been there.
Manitoba, Flin Flon. I've always loved the name Flin Flon.
Right.
And I did a little research. That's actually named after a character in a science fiction book from 1905.
Oh.
That's how the town came to get its name. But that is not the direct link. I think someone was doing a claim on a copper mine, and they had read this book. And so because of this character Flin Flon, they named the stake Flin Flon, and then they afterwards made a town in that area because that first claim was called Flin Flon, and thus the name Flin Flon was
There you go.
born.
Okay. What about finger?
Another body.
Give you the finger?
Right. We got crotch, we got finger, we got head, right?
And my favorite, Bacon Ridge.
Saskatchewan's another good place for names.
Yep.
I tell you, this name I'm going to say to you.
Okay.
It's one town,
All
one
right.
name. It's not 5 towns. It's one.
All right.
It's Mosquito Grizzly Bear's Head Lean Man. Mosquito Grizzly Bear's Head Lean Man. One place. You know there's a good story there, right?
Put that on a card. Say, here's where I'm from. Yes. What does the sign look like as
Wish
you
you were
enter
here.
the city?
Wish you were here.
How about Climax?
Okay. And then classic Moose Jaw.
Moose Jaw.
That's a well-known town.
Eyebrow?
more body parts. Did we not come up with other things?
Yep.
And then Big Beaver.
Big Beaver and urine.
So let's end in BC.
Let's end in BC. Okay, I agree.
What do we got in BC?
Stoner. Stoner BC.
Could have made many
Welcome.
80s film in Stoner
Yes.
BC.
Yes.
Spuzum was always, even as a kid, it was
Yeah.
always Spuzum. People made fun of Spuzum, and it was a name that you certainly heard about as, have you been to Spuzum?
Yep. And Skookumchuck.
Classic. I love the name.
So I think we have our topic for today for our podcast.
What do you think? What's in a name, do you
What's
think?
in a name?
What's in a name? There's our
So
topic.
That's our topic.
So there's our theme. Our theme is what's in a name.
And names are really important. We want our students to know each other's names.
Yes.
You were given that name by your family. Oftentimes that has a very significant connection to family lineage. Sometimes it could be just your mom or your dad has their favorite movie star or actor or actress or football player, and they said, that's your name.
And teachers right now, their third week of school, and hopefully you've learned the names.
They're working on those
right?
names, yes.
But there are challenges, which we'll get to later.
And you want to make sure that you say the name properly.
I'll tell you want to make sure, because my brother never could say my name properly. I mean, actually, probably I was going to say the first 10 years of my life, probably the first 15 years of my life. If it was up to him, I don't think I heard my name Martin said once. It was just farting.
Oh.
I was farting for 15 years. And the thing is, my mom, who's the one that got to name me, because my dad thought he was going to have a daughter. My brother's older than me, and my mom named my brother Andrew.
St. Andrews?
Yeah, there's a saint there. And my dad thought, no, this is going to be a girl. I don't know why he knew that. They didn't have an ultrasound in those days, but he was determined he had a girl. And he's German, so he was going to name me Heidi.
Can I call you Heidi?
If you want to call me Heidi. You can call me Heidi if you want.
And now I have to call you Saint Martin?
Well, yeah, but he called me Heidi. And then, you know what he did? Because he didn't get the name me
Heidi. Yeah.
So he right away got a German Shepherd after I was born and named her Heidi. And so my mom named me Martin. And you're right. There's St. Andrew, St. Martin.
St.
Right?
Martin. Oh, so you're Saint.
Yeah, well, but you shouldn't talk. Mr. Royal King Roy here, right? Think of the origin of your name. Bow down to me. I am the king, King Wah, right?
Well, actually, I'm Roy Donald Hunt Jr.
There's a name you're not going to hear in the future.
Donald, I'm going to just call me Mr. D. Yes, my father was Roy Sr. and I was Roy Jr.
So you're Roy. I'm going to call you Junior now.
Junior.
You're now Junior. Okay,
well,
Junior.
The only time I knew I was in trouble from my mom, she would always pull the junior card. Roy Jr., you get here right now. But it was kind of confusing. There would be times that are in our house where my mom would say Roy, and my dad and I would both answer.
Okay.
But when we heard Roy Jr.,
you knew.
I knew, and I usually tried to run out the back door. Now, my name was Roy because my dad's name was
But how
Roy,
about
and
your
I was
dad?
the first
Yeah.
son
Yeah,
born.
yeah.
Now, my brother, on the other hand, his name is Carrie.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Oh,
my
like-
mom loved Cary Grant.
That's so many names, right? You can tell the time they were named in the period of history of that time, because
Yes.
there's some celebrity or some person in culture, and so Cary Grant, right? Yes.
And I know that parents think about the names that are really important and make connection with them. Did your parents really think of, they might call him Fartin Martin?
No.
Fartin?
No.
And I know my parents didn't really think about how cruel kids can be.
So Carrie Hunt.
So Carrie Hunt. Now, all you need to do is take the C
know where we're
from
going.
Carrie and the H from Hunt
kids
and
are cruel.
reverse them. And my 7-year-old brother on the playground of elementary school, I would say pretty much for his entire career in elementary school, would be called to the office, I'm going to say 3 to 4 times a week, because he was in a fight with someone who was just, all they were doing was just reversing
Just
the letter.
changing 2 letters.
And I know that, I'm pretty sure that made him he's one tough guy, and I wouldn't want to cross him. So that years and years of elementary school ground fighting has made him one tough.
It's amazing
guy.
how one little letter change can change everything. I do remember my mom when I was like 5. I came home and I think I had heard my brother and his friends, because he was 5 years older, they were using the F word, right? And I ran around, but I didn't hear it properly. I thought it was puck. Puck. So I'm running around thinking I'm going to get a rise out of everybody, right? But I used the P instead of the F. So there's that one letter that didn't get me in trouble, actually. It saved me. But that one letter changed your brother's life dramatically.
Yes, it did.
Oh. And I think it's because of stories like that, and because of my history with my name and my brother twisting it with one letter, changing it to something else. Maybe we overthought it, but when I had my own kids, really started to think about, first of all, how would this sound on the playground? Does it rhyme with anything? Is it going to lead to trouble? Are they going to be humiliated and bullied because of this name, right? But also maybe names that I've taught. That was a challenge.
Oh, I had same situation where I would say just naming our daughters are stressful. We were looking at popular names, and there are some names from my teaching career that they're actually emotional triggers for me.
Right? There's no way your child could have this name now.
They bring up past traumas.
Sometimes I've actually had some names I couldn't choose because I had a wonderful experience with that child, right?
Yes.
But that child had that name, not my own child, right?
Yes.
But to me, it was those triggers that were the most powerful, right?
Yes.
Where my wife would say, "Hey, here's a good name. How about Jordan?" And I'd go, "No, I'm sorry."
Yeah. There are a lot of J names that I would just definitely say no.
But the irony is my son is Joshua. But at that point, I had not had a Joshua. And Joshua Tree was probably a big album, so the word and the name was in our heads right at that time. But no Joshua had appeared to ruin that name. And my daughter's Savannah, so hadn't had any Savannahs.
Okay.
And we all know the story. I won't go on and on about her name, but we all know the story of her name. So yes, those names that we've had can trigger us in ways that are really difficult as teachers. And people listening, if you have some examples, maybe of names
please.
You were thinking of, and your husband or your wife suggested, "Hey, how about Karen?" And you go, "Well,
Yeah, well, and
Karen, who names anybody Karen nowadays?
But
I
then,
guess that name's
that's
ruined.
the weird thing, because I have I have an aunt Karen, I have a really good friend Karen, and Karen was just, and it's a name that I grew up with. There were lots of Karens when in my my grades in my elementary school,
child Karen.
And then now all of a sudden name Karen, people, no way,
It's like
big flag.
It's like Germany after 1945. There were no Adolfs ever again, right?
Yes,
that name ended.
Yes, and I mean maybe even Donald might be a name that
maybe
disappears.
Hopefully,
for
I
a
hope
while.
it does for some reason.
Yes.
Because there might be those that name who want to show their admiration for the man. But yes.
Yes. And then just pronunciation of names.
Yes.
It's just all over the place. I know how to read. And then people make me feel like I don't know how to read. I say, "Oh, your name, Celine?" And no, that's Celine. I'm like, okay. And then Colin? No, it's colon. Oh, so
I'll have a colonoscopy then. Right? Is that what we're going to say? But
go to my doctor. Could you look at my colon, please?
You have a choice. You could name your son Colin or colon. What shall it be? I mean, either it's a piece of punctuation or it's a colon.
Oh, my gosh. Yes.
But speaking of mispronunciations, before the Harry Potter movies came out, I read all the books to my kids, right? All the time, right? And I had never seen the name Hermione. I had never heard that name. I just read it.
Yeah.
So to my kids, she was Hermione.
Hermione.
And
nice.
No one batted an eye, and it was
because
Hermione.
They hadn't seen the movie yet.
And then we went to the very first movie, and suddenly it's Hermione, and they both look at me.
And like, Dad can't read.
He can't read. She shall always be Hermione to me.
So, anyways,
Yeah, those are just those challenges with names and why it's important to get them right.
that's right.
And it is important to get them right. So how do we get them right? Like, these first few weeks of school, we've probably all had moments where you're looking at the class list and you don't get it right. So how do we prepare for that so that we don't embarrass ourselves? We don't shame the student because we want to respect them and their name and the sounds and the pronunciation. Because as we all know, names have no basis in phonetics, right?
Yes.
And so many, they come from different languages,
Yes.
and there's different ways to say it. Depends what country you're in, so it's always a challenge.
It is, and as a classroom teacher, the best thing that I've done is first I look, before the students would come in, I would look them over and say, oh yeah, I know that. I might circle a name that I'm not quite sure about, and I can pretty much figure out what teacher they had last year, so I could ask about that.
Did you ever look at their picture too?
So we'll go online to attendance and find their photos.
Right.
But if you get a number of new students, there's
a
nothing there.
Just a blank.
You just have a blank.
Like that blank shape thing kind of thing.
And especially when they're new students or students, international students who come, they
often choose a Western name,
right?
Yeah,
just sort of a Westernized name, like easy. My name.
Which I always think is a shame, personally.
Yes, and so you say my name is Lucy, and then you're looking at this this name and said, what?
Right.
Lucy? He said, oh, please call me Lucy. And so okay, but then you have to remember when you're doing the report card,
because if it's down on the roster as that name, you have to use that on the report card, or you're going to mess up the system.
So then you have to use their given name, from the country,
right?
They have. So I know there's little challenges like that. So, and then some students, in the end, when I have them write their name tags out, and they do a really nice cursive style, and I can't read it because
I that right. I don't know
no
what
idea
name
what
this
to
is. Do this again.
Right?
Nice block letters, please.
And they said, okay, I'm not quite 100% sure about the student. I said, when they hand in some work, I'm going to check their name, and no name.
Would you sometimes, like on the roster, on the class list, kind of put phonetic little hints and little clues about how to say it when you
there was
did
this
get it wrong?
one student.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I asked her more than once about her name, and I just could not figure out what to do. And I went to a teacher who had this student before, and said, "Okay, here's how I remember it. Don't worry about any." He said, "Don't worry about any vowels at all. Just write down these letters: D, N,
Oh, that's brilliant.
A."
Right. Okay.
DNA? Is that you
got
that's
it.
perfect. And so and I didn't even believe him. I go, really? And so when the student was in the classroom, first thing I said, "Good morning, DNA." He said, "Oh, good morning, Mr. Hunt." I go like, "Wow,
bullseye, nicely done, right?" But sometimes they don't tell you. I had this one girl, and I called her Ariana for the whole year. And at the end, she said, "Actually, Mr. Stuible, my name's Ariana, not Ariana." I said, "Oh, why didn't you tell me, Ariana?" Right? We have here. This is to show that we're actually not in the box. We have a red squirrel jumping up around on the table here. Check it out.
It was just sitting beside me.
Yeah. We've had a few Stellar Jays, and they're trying to see if we've left anything behind. But
it says correct, because Stellar J is coming by to correct you on the way. It's not Stellar J, it's Stella J.
Right. Yes, Ariana. Sorry.
And then the challenges with, I think you were telling me once before about a challenge you had with twins in your class.
I had these two girls. Usually, I've had twins a couple times over there, and usually they dress differently, but these two would dress almost the same. Their hair is exactly the same. Their name was Emma and Emily. Right? Come on, why are you doing this to me? Right? So always, I would just randomly 50% chance if I was talking to one.
Oh, I lost.
Hey, Emma.
I lost.
No, it's Emily, and they were really good natured about it. I was so grateful. Probably by April, one did get a haircut that was different finally, so I could now. Thank you, Emily. I know who you are.
Well, when you think about it, I mean, at least you get the students on a regular basis into your classroom. You can pull them aside instead of sort of pull them aside and say, okay, I just want to make sure, am I saying your name properly,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
you have those little moments.
Yeah.
But what about a substitute teacher? What about the TTOC out there? And I've
have you
been
had
in the
those
classroom,
experiences? Okay, yeah.
and it's, I like to go in early to the school, and I like to prep myself. I put on some music. I have my coffee,
Right.
and I always look over my attendance and see, are there any names that I'm going to have some challenges with or anything like that? Because I'd like to do the best that I can, and because that's the first impression, right? And oftentimes, even though I think, I've got it under control, if you mispronounce the name, sometimes you can get like, that's not the way that you say her name, or that's not the way you say his name, or the class goes
Everyone would tell you, especially
everybody
when
jumps in on
you're
it.
a new TLC coming in, right?
So,
For sure.
So the way I try to alleviate that is I put the word read on the board.
Okay.
And so I'm just starting, right? The class is seated, and
Like READ.
yeah, READ.
Okay, yeah.
And I point to the word and I said, how do you say that?
Okay.
And they said, read. And I said, no. And they say, read. And I go, no. and I said, that part I'm just joking about. But my point is that you can look at that and say read, or you can look at that and say read. And so when I look at your name and I'm doing the best that I can,
Right.
If I mispronounce it, all you need to do, just raise your hand and say, my name is pronounced this way.
But what a great example, actually, to put that on there.
And just to use it as because it puts you in control.
Right.
Because not knowing the names, and they all do, there's a kind of a little power thing there, right? And so that's wrong.
Right.
Well, then, okay, well,
then show
tell
them that
me
it's easy to get it
what's
wrong
right.
the first time, but now show me, and
So-
I respect that that's your name, and I'm going to say it right
then I'll
now.
work really hard
Yes.
about remembering the names, and it's hard because especially in the older grades, they're not. You say the name, and sometimes like there's nothing.
Have you ever had the classic where they have switched names as a TLC? Like, you always hear that, and I don't know if that really does happen, but have they tried on you? I don't know if people actually do that now.
Name tags, maybe.
That
But
helps now.
It depends. It depends on the class.
Yeah.
And I think it's more likely to happen in the maybe in the beginning of the year for a TOC as later on, especially if you've been in the class more than once and they kind of get to know you.
Yeah,
right?
that really helps. You're not going to pull that
helps.
trick on you, right?
Right.
I even had these two twins when I was in elementary school, and they were in two different classes, and they would switch once in a while and go to the other class, and the teacher didn't know. They had great fun with that. But in preparation for this episode, you and I rewatched a really funny skit that we've seen online.
Yes.
Key and Peele do the substitute teacher with Mr. Garvey.
Yes.
Right? And there's some really funny examples of getting a name wrong, and he gets so angry if they don't get it the way he thinks it's pronounced.
Yes.
Right?
And then they're playing games on him. He's we're gonna play that kind of game.
He sweeps everything off the desk. Like it was like, Jay Quellen? Is there a Jay Quellen here? Right? For
you
Jacqueline.
mean Jacqueline?
Yeah. No. Jay Quellen.
And Balake? Is it Balake?
And then someone says, you mean Blake? No, Balake. And then Denice. Why is no one putting up their hand? Oh, you fooling with me? Where's Denice?
It's Denise.
It's Denice. and then it ends with the classic, right?
Aaron.
Who? Aaron? There's no Aaron here. And he keeps saying it. Aaron, right? Exactly. And then finally,
the hand
curly
goes
head
up.
kid puts up his hand.
Sheepishly, it's
I
going
think
like,
you mean
Aaron?
And he says, that's it. You go to Principal O'Shaughnessy. Off you go. You mean Principal O'Shaughnessy? So we really encourage you to check out that video. I've put the link on our Facebook page, and it's a really funny video. And I think it hopefully brings you some calm that if you do get names wrong, it's okay.
Yes. And it's
right?
just to look.
There's no sense to the pronunciation of many names, but it's not okay to keep it up and not learn those names eventually. This podcast is organic, taking shape with each episode. Building resiliency for teachers everywhere.
That sounds great.
And our website is stuntbrothers.ca.
That's stuntbrothers.ca.
We will chat again
after the bell.